from healthy nutrition, we move on to education. So, my next guest today possesses an illustrious career in the field of education, spanning over, guess what, 28 years. She is a chemistry specialist and a master's in literature and business administration. She has served as a principal in Dubai for 16 years, propelling the school communities towards an exponential journey aligned with UAE's vision for excellence. Fatima Martin is serving as a principal of GEM's New Millennium School, Al-Khail, Dubai since 2015. The success of the alumni at GEM's New Millennium School, the extensive scholarships and the university placements is a testament to the inspirational leadership at the helm of this dual curriculum school that offers CBSE and IGCSE. She's passionate about empowering young individuals to chase their aspirations and become accomplished global citizens, equipping them with resilience, empathy, and leadership skills. Please welcome on stage Ms. Fatima Martin. Sorry, mic problems, just a minute. Sorry for that, technical issues happen, but we'll continue. Let's welcome on stage our third panelist and special guest of the day. She's an obstetrician and gynecologist in practice for 33 years from India. She has been working in Dubai for the last 13 years. She always had a keen interest in educating people and has conducted numerous awareness camps for women health, osteoporosis, menopause, cancer of the cervix and breast, as well as nutrition and gut health in Mumbai as well as Dubai. She even runs an annual breast cancer awareness event known as the Pink Cooking Challenge every October, and we at IWD are very proud partners of it over the last couple of years. Over the last 8 years, she has been on a food journey and has continued spreading awareness on the importance of recognizing and eating healthy foods to her patients and teenagers. During this, she blogs and has taken part in multiple competitions, which has helped her grow and have made her an inspiration to many women who see her as other than a doctor. Please welcome on stage Dr. Rajan Mehta. So ladies, this session is all about talking about financial independence. I have a few questions which I have kind of prepared for these ladies, but once I finish with those, we're going to open up the hall and you're all welcome to ask your questions, whatever interests you. So there we go. Thank you ladies, thank you so much. Let's just quickly do a mic check. Alright, ladies, it's absolutely my pleasure to have you here today. Now each of you has a very illustrious career behind them. Can you share a personal story or an experience that highlights the importance of financial independence in empowering women?
Hello, good afternoon everyone. First of all, great to see full house and just the sheer enthusiasm among the women community, the Indian women community in Dubai towards understanding the importance and significance of financial independence. So I think more than financial literacy, this is just the solidarity around the significance of empowered women who are financially literate and who are independent. So thank you again for being here, and an absolute honor to be on the stage. So I think for me, understanding how important it is to be just financially secure came in very early. I think it was about 10 years ago, 10 years old, when my dad brought, something called national bonds in India, which was like you invest any amount of money and it got doubled in 5 years' time. So I remember when I was 14 or 15, when he sent me to the bank along with my sister and said, well, now we've got to go and encash it. And I think all he put in was about 1,000 rupees or 2,000 rupees, which became 4,000 rupees. And I remember taking that, financial bond, like a size of an A5 size paper, going to the bank and actually getting double the amount of what was invested. And it was a great eye-opener to understanding the importance of savings. So from then on, there's been really no looking back in many ways. One, because the schools that we run here in Dubai, they are schools which are private schools, unlike the public schools in the UK or in the US. We collect fees from the parents, and then that fees goes into budgeting how the school runs. Major chunk is the salaries, but then beyond that, the resources, the value for money back to the clients. So goes down to really understanding the importance of budgeting in a financial setup. So I, did not do commerce. I'm a science student. But I remember when I became principal, I actually did a course on finance for non-finance leaders. And it actually went down the route of understanding what is a profit loss statement, and the nuances of budgeting, and then looking at it towards a 3-year development plan and extrapolating what is now to what is going to be, and so on. We had no idea of what recession would be like, whether the pandemic was coming, what impact it would have. But I think just having this 5-step process in your mind of there's earnings, there's savings, and then there's budgeting, and then there is planning, and then there's investment. So I'm just understanding this 5-step process, and by being mean, it kind of protected us from all of the foreseeable losses that possibly could have happened. So that's been my journey in a nutshell. I'm sure my panelists here have more to share.
So thank you, IWD, so much, Reema. Thank you, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be on this, to share this stage with such lovely panelists. When I thought about financial independence, right through my whole career and my life, I was thinking about what I was seeing in my patients. Every patient that I would see, majority of the patients that I saw in India were not financially independent under any circumstances. And it made me more aware, because as a child, I was given a lot of freedom. We were 3 sisters growing up. We didn't have any male member in the family except my father. And my father was a doctor also. And he made sure that he was looking after all the finances. He was investing for us. He was doing everything. But he made me aware of a small thing initially. That was what savings started with. That was PPF. Okay, it was Public Provident Fund. We started with that, and I thought that is when I saw my father doing, because he was a doctor also, and when he was doing that, he would make sure that he would have something for all of us. Cut to many years later, when we had children also, the 3 sisters, he opened PPF accounts for all the children also, to make sure that we would continue with that. My mother was always a housewife, but she's very, very highly educated. She started with law. She couldn't complete it because she helped my father out with his hospital work, so she did nursing and midwifery. And then she was working with a general insurance company for years while she was helping my dad with the nursing home. She never needed to work, ever. But she did, because that was her money. And what would she do with that money? She'd come and take the 3 of us shopping. When she got her commission check, she'd say, okay, today we can go shopping with this, but only if the 3 of us shared whatever she bought us. Again, teaching us value of that money, value of sharing, value of being able to spend on only what we wanted and what we could share. So these were just a few things that started it off, though I was not completely managing my finances on my own. Honestly, my dad was doing it for years and years. And later on, when I took over everything, I want to say that my husband is one person who never managed any finances. He would earn and he would give it to me. So I invest, I manage, I do everything. I manage the insurances, I manage the investments. If I ask him also for his advice, he tells me, you do what you're doing right, so just do it. Because he trusts me, and this is another thing that I will talk about later on, why this is important in any relationship. To have this, because your financial goals have to be the same for you to do the right thing. I think Mithun, you will probably say. I have learned finance a very hard way, honestly speaking. I've learned, वो कहते हैं ना हिंदी में क्या छाछ भी फूक फूक के पीते हैं. That is my story. So I come from a very middle class background. My mother a homemaker, my father a banker. I'm from Kolkata. I grew up in Bombay. All we learned was, right from growing up, was my dad said, anyhow you have to get into the medical industry. And थोड़ा बहुत गाना वाना में गा लेना because you're a Bengali, so you have to sing. So medical industry. But one thing we never spoke about was finance. Nobody taught us in school, nor did your parents teach you. And one very important thing nobody talked about in our house or in our school was sex. So two things I feel in Indian households, it's a big problem, taboo. For us the understanding was, if you are to be rich, then probably you have to bag a really good job and then it will be a high paying job, that's how you'll be rich. Or you'll be a smuggler, right? Like, yeah, because that's how it was perceived, no?
Yeah.
That must be into some kala dhanda, that's why he's rich, right? That's why that family is rich. We are all good people, so we are into jobs, we are either doctors, we are engineers, we are lawyers. So I was taught how to take care of myself, I was taught how to be dignified, self-respect, but never taught finance, never. We couldn't talk about boyfriends in the house, how? My God, not possible. So what happened was, of course, I worked in hospitals because that's what, as a clinical dietitian, that my degree was. After my master's, I had to work in hospitals. So in hospitals, the patients, when I was working with them, I felt rewarding. But obviously the faculty never thought anything of you. You're a dietitian, so what? Aaj ande overcooked ho gaye hain, today the dal has no salt. You know, this is what we used to do. We just stand in the kitchen of the hospitals and we already actually had to measure things like, okay, he's hypertensive, so a low salt diet. Okay, he has kidney problems, so low potassium diet. So this is what our job was, but it was not rewarding that way. And what, you were making a frugal salary, all I knew was save it because you need to save this money to buy your expensive lehenga, no, when you get married. Because I didn't want my father to spend on my lehenga that I wanted, dreamed of, Manish Malhotra lehenga, right? So I couldn't do that. So I wanted to save that. But this is what mindset about making money.
Yeah.
Now I came to Dubai and this was like, I became an entrepreneur by accident. I think I was at the right time. The market was so raw, nobody knew what nutrition is. People were eating out of what? Enoch, Epco, petrol pumps, KFC, McDonald's. Even if I was trying to create awareness when I was freelancing, people were like, okay, 100 grams of broccoli, 200 grams of chicken, but how to make it, how to do things. That's how my business plan started, and I invested in myself. That was the first investment I ever did, was on myself. Because I thought I could crack this. And I really did. And I'm talking this about 2005. Okay, and I was super successful. I think I was the only Indian who started Simply Healthy as a meal plan company. After that, many companies did come through, and I think the media was covering me, the newspapers were covering me, because it's the first time something like this happened. I was really proud of myself, and I think my father must have not made that kind of money. My husband's family must have not made that kind of money, and for me it was like, you know, I think वो आंखें चौंधिया जाती है ना आपकी, तो वैसा सीन था मेरा. Okay. I started mingling with people who were definitely much higher status than me, because then I thought I'm also there, and they were all very heavily invested in properties. I made that big mistake of biting more than I could chew. I, in 2007 end, invested in the downtown area, not as an investment, because meko to rehna hai, my dream home, to live. And I think I spread my wings too much. EMI was big, mortgages were big. I'm in a business, there is no guarantee what can happen. And 2008, shit happened. The recession hit. The same people who were investing in properties left their cars at the airport and ran away. Right? I lost everything, literally, from downtown to Karama, literally. And it happened. I lost literally everything. I was back to zero. The guilt killed me. The husband was supposed to be very supportive in between, always taunted. Today we are here because of you, because of your stubbornness. So, you know, you realize there are so many things that go wrong, not just professionally, personally. I had to shut shop because recession was such. That's not a time people think of weight loss or they think of health. They don't think luxury. That time they're just surviving. That time nobody's going to think of my kind of business. So I had to shut shop. I think 2 years I took a sabbatical. I became a mom. I raised my child. I took a sabbatical, and that was the time I educated myself about finances. I did think why we girls are never given this knowledge in school. Why are we so dependent on? I didn't even know how to operate a bank system. My father used to do it for me. You know, he bought property. I invested a little bit with him, but I didn't know the meaning of that investment. I thought I'm lending him money. He said, "Thoda sa paisa, I gave you that." So it was that, you know. And then I thought, "Oh, वो तो मेरा ही होने वाला है." So ठीक है, दे दो थोड़ा सा, you know. We never understood the meaning of good finance. So during this hardship is when I learned. Of course, I went into clinical depression. You know, a woman who is a career-oriented, sitting and looking after a crying baby, an angry husband, somewhere in a, you know, so I do think that I messed up, but I learned, I got up, I actually started learning about investments and finances, budgeted. Then my second innings started properly, with a lot of understanding this time.
Yeah, nice round of applause. So thank you for sharing your personal journeys of how financial literacy came into your lives. And I think we've established that it's really important for women. So what advice do you have for women in the room about learning about financial literacy? Where do they start? What should they keep in mind?
Okay, we're going in the same order. I think, like for example, Payit app. And you know, I want to tell you, so we, the lady principals at GEMS, you know, we have a little clique and we do weekends out, or you know, we go out for lunches and stuff. So, and I remember every time we, you know, when we, you know, when we go Dutch, it is, we actually paying in cash. But my daughter, who's in the US, and then when she goes out with friends, so she has this app called Venmo. And Venmo is only a US-based app, it's not international. So they just pay it by the app, or they pay through PayPal. So they don't actually ever use physical, you know, cash currency to pay off whatever they have, you know, pulled in. So I think any app, an app is supposed to be customer friendly. It is supposed to serve the customer. So we should not have a phobia in using technology. Whether it is the digital services of a bank, or for example, I remember when you know, the Prime Minister Modi, you know, ensured that all of the working women need to have a bank account for their salaries to get paid, and what it has done in the psyche to ensure that these women were actually getting paid and that their wages were protected, and you know, that security then became a mindset that was inbuilt, emotional and financial, through that process. So I think for women, my first advice is embrace technology. I have a lot of parents at school who have the same phobia. Oh, there's a lot of digitization in the school, so what happens in the future? My child would forget to read and, you know, to write in the conventional manner. Not at all. These are skills that, you know, one has to embrace, and it starts, I think, with the woman in the house. So it's as simple as, do you want to do a course about it? Then go do it. You know, but take that first step to become technologically, you know, to be technologically confident and empower yourself that way, because that's the route the world is going. After having done that, you know, there is no hassle in trying out these apps, which are freely available. So you're not committing to anything, but you're trying them out. So I think that should be, for me, the first step. And for me as a person, I never really hesitated in doing that. I always jumped into it when it came to technology. Probably I would have been a fresher at many times, and I wouldn't know what actually was lying on the other side of the shore. But I did take that, that dive, and never has it failed me. A lot of women, referring to what Mithun said about, or like for Rajul, who said that her husband just gave the entire ownership to her, saying, well, go ahead and invest, and I'm just there to back you up, and I trust in you. Need not be the case in all our families. I know where, including our Union Minister of Finance, Nirmala Sitharaman, I don't think her husband completely trusts in her, though she is running the finance of the company. The recent book that came out, I hope I'm not getting quoted on this. But I know how he took her head on holding her accountable. And did she give up? No, she didn't. Look at, the strides that India is making towards women's financial empowerment. Or the deputy managing director of the IMF, Geeta Gopinath, who is such a standing example of what women in finance can do. So I would say go take the leap, go take the dive, and go for it. See what's on the other side. Don't ever back off from doing that. And it doesn't matter whether your husband is with you on that or not. I mean, it's not going to bring in a divide in the family because of that. Together, it's going to only get you, larger strides ahead. So I hope that was useful.
Okay, having said that, I want to say something. My husband doesn't believe me every time I tell him something. It's, and there's a reason why I'm saying this. He ultimately succumbs because I have done my homework well, and that's why he understands that I'm going to do a good job out of that. So the reason why I said this now is, that's my first advice to all of y'all. You need to learn first what is involved in saving and investing. That's the first step you need to take. You need to have a joint goal with your husband. You need to sit down and talk to your husband about what are your financial goals for the future. Where do you want to be at certain ages in your life? What are you looking at for your children? For me, it was a major disaster because me and my husband were alone for n number of years. I had my son really late in my life, after 11 years of my marriage, and till he was not there, I was just the happy-go-lucky person, earning, spending. Yes, my father was saving, so I thought he's saving, so that's fine. But I was spending, I bought jewelry, I had holidays, I earned, I did everything. Okay, I was working very hard, but I was spending that and enjoying my life also. When my son was born, when I was 38 years old, my first thought in my mind was, what if I die and he's young? What am I going to do? What is he going to do for his education? I was not worried about what I'm going to leave behind for him. It was for his education and to set him out in life. Don't we all as women worry about our children and about our, what are we looking at giving our children in the future? We want them to be skilled to do something in life, and we want them to learn how to save so that they have a better life than we had. So it all started off from there, and I really advise all of you to go and learn what is required. After you know your goal, you need to know what are the products available to invest and how you will use this amount that you earn in a month to save, to enjoy, and to use it correctly. It's not only about holidaying, it's not only about spending. You need money for everything. And the most important thing that I believe in is insurance for yourself. Medical insurance, life insurance. This is something nobody talks about. Few of the people who have gone through things in life will know, and they will do it. You have to have funds aside for this because this can wipe you out completely if something bad comes your way. Of course, bad financial investments can also wipe you off. So I believe that you must have investments that are capital protected. I'll say this in simple terms. I learned this very late in my life. When I have, let's say, 1 lakh rupees, I don't want to lose that 1 lakh rupees. I may make that more, but I don't want it to become 90,000 or 80,000. I don't even want it to become 99,000. So even when I'm investing, I'm actually looking at not putting everything into high risk products. Like there are mutual funds, as I said, insurance, there is fixed deposits, there are multiple things. I teach my child, and I have been teaching him from the time he has been very young. Because we moved here when he was only 9. And for us, it was not for of course it was for the money, but we had come to a plateau in our lives. I was 46 years old, I was practicing for 20 years in Mumbai. Me and my husband were both practicing and we are the same age. So when we moved here, we thought, okay, let us do it for 3 years because I got the offer from the hospital. And we said, okay, let me come and try it out. Once I came here, obviously the idea was in 3 years you save as much money and take back with you. So the whole thing was about saving. So my child was here with me. We were here alone for 3 years while my husband was in India because we said that one of us has got the job, we have to be here while the other one we both can't get out of Mumbai with dropping our practices over there. I started teaching my son from that age onwards what he needs to do with his money. It is something a lot of people don't talk to their children about. I think even if they are very young, you take them into the supermarket, give them 1 dirham and say, go spend 50 fils on something that you need, and 50 fils you can decide, you save it or you can put it in a kitty somewhere, okay, a piggy bank. I really believe in piggy banks. And then we were actually, as my son grew older and he's taken his career path now, I literally have told him that you need to save 20% of your income monthly, you need to put it aside. It seems very difficult to do when you start off. If somebody had told me years ago to do that, I never did that, okay? Because I thought we never had enough money. We were paying back money for the house that we built, all kinds of things, the hospitals that we had back home. So everything was more important than saving. And of course so then you spend for insurance and then you want to spend some amount for your holiday. So the holiday can come out of that 20%, but you don't completely throw it away. If you do this, you'll become a millionaire by the time you're in your 30s. You don't have to wait till I'm 60 today. So you don't have to wait that long. And I really believe that if we teach our children young, we've taken the first step forward. So for that, we need to teach ourselves also. I never shy away from asking questions. Never. I never think I'm very smart. No. Even if others may think that way, I don't think that way. I ask questions. I ask people what to do. I actually go to events and I do a lot of things only because I learn from others at every event. At everything I learn something new and come back. This has to be a hunger that you should have to do. And this is a very important thing in finance. So once you know what you want to do and you trust somebody, follow somebody who's a good person at the bank who will help you with it. And of course with your husband, with him knowing what you want to do. I think these are the steps that you need to take.
See ladies, we live in a modern world. We don't know today if our marriage is going to last or not last. All said and done. You love your husband loves you, but you still need to be independent. Independent of what he thinks about your finances. Independent of your joint accounts, independent of your together investments, together house, together kid, whatever. Okay? So one tip I would like to give all you women, which I learned after my episode, was that of course we took collective decisions because I was self-doubting myself during those 2 years, right? I had the fear of failure. I was doubting myself, but me being a go-getter, I got up, found my foot, and I
restarted. But on the side, I started doing one small hack. I had one account where all my income would get into. Okay, that was an influx of all my income. Income could be from my business, from my collaborations, from all the different kind of activities that I do. All the income would go into that account. I budgeted from this particular amount. This is the amount every month will go into this B account for my spending. Okay, like a budget. One particular amount was going from this account into another account for investments with discipline. Because this was something I had to do. I actually started with simple things like mutual funds, SIPs, this, that. Okay? Real estate was dur tak maine dekha bhi nahi because again, I was really burned. Well, so small things. So I kept that amount for investments. One thing I did also was I kept separately an emergency fund. Now I was used to a certain lifestyle, okay? I wanted to live this way, I wanted to wear these clothes, I wanted to eat this kind of food because I want to be healthy, I want to be looking good, I wanted that lifestyle. I wanted to look young, I want to look nice. I need that lifestyle or else I'll be unhappy. If I am unhappy, I will keep everybody else around me unhappy. So I need that for myself, okay? So that was something I thought of. And I kept a 1-year emergency fund, keeping in mind if something happens, if shit happens, I have this fund ready for me to survive 1 whole year, not change my lifestyle. Okay, that was something that I thought is very important. So this is one of the hacks that I did. Slowly after that, now in the last 5 years, I've started investing in property, not to go and live in there, but smaller investments where it's all paid off. Now I'm getting rental yield, short rental yields, where we know that these are student complexes, or, those kind of things even abroad, not just in Dubai itself. Dubai is again volatile. So different places where you know that you're going to get rental yield. Like it's very nice to see every month an amount just coming in without doing anything because you invested it 5 years ago. Okay, so that is something I looked into. And let me tell you one thing, ladies, it's so important to educate yourself. Continuous learning is so important. We might think that we know it all, but we never know it. We have to continue to learn, become experts in your field, become an entrepreneur. It's a great journey to be an entrepreneur, trust me. That feeling is something else, that liberty that you get where you're your own boss. You don't have to answer to anybody. Find your forte, find your niche, and become that entrepreneur. Sleep aram se at night, nobody to answer to. You have your flexibility when you want to go to work. You have the flexibility, how you want to treat your staff, what profits you want to share with them. You have the creativity, that whatever you want to do with your business, you have the creativity. That's so beautiful. Of course, as a startup, you struggle in the beginning, you work for 18 hours, 19 hours, but the wealth you generate because it is your own work and you didn't have to share it with 10 other people makes a huge difference. And that money you invest calculatively, smart choices, and then you reap the benefits. That's what we as women today have to do. We have to do this. We love our husbands, we love our children, we love our parents, but get selfish. And self-care in the end, we were just discussing, we forget about ourselves. This is the last thing on our mind, is looking after our own selves. Suddenly time passes, you're perimenopausal. Oh my God, all my time is gone. Suddenly you're menopausal. All the best time of your life was gone, struggling it out. And that's when you start having your own hormonal issues, mood swings, high stress levels, which has made you gain weight, and multiple issues. And then suddenly you realize now that when you're ready to enjoy your money, it's too late. So invest, make your money, make your budgeting, get your calculate all your risks, manage all your debts and stuff, and then you're ready to rock the world, honestly speaking. Thank you.
Can we have a round of applause? Amazing. Are we finding this? Sorry, I lost my voice. Are we finding this session useful? Yes. Do we have any questions for our panelists out there? I want to open it up if anybody has a question. You can raise your hands. We can come to you with a mic if anybody has anything. This is a very nice audience we have. We have a question. All right.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Shama from Kisaras. We do events and exhibitions. Thank you, ladies. Miss Fatima, I know you already, and our two ladies. Sorry, I just did not get your name, but I'm impressed by your stories, and we are in the same page. Thank you. My question to actually the page, I mean, when Miss Fatima said be tech, learn yourself and this and that, so we have the major security questions and challenges. If you all allow me, we all have the same doubts. Like every paying channels, what we have today, there are security threats. We input our credentials with our details of bank cards and things. So what is the security measures Payit can assure us? Can one of Payit
We have a question for the Payit team here.
Because I believe we are here for...
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely, this is a burning question, and everybody wants to be ensured that the app is safe, right? The first thing comes from First IWD bank, right? So it's a bank, right? And in Dubai, we know that all the banks are secure, and the app is, I would say, like not 100%, 200% secure. It's just linked with your one device. Even you can't, use this particular app to another device unless and until you unlink with that. That level of security we have taken over here. You know where, I'll tell you, where exactly the breach happens, and this is what we are seeing in the country happening. Somebody calls you, say, I'm calling you from Dubai Police, I'm calling you from some government authority, and give me your OTP and all that. See, this is where the fraud happens. And a lot of education is happening, like never ever share these information to anybody else. A PIN number, your OTP, nobody asks, no bank in the world asks this thing. But sometimes we are not aware of, we don't know this thing, we share it and the fraud happens. In that case, nobody can help you, even police can't help you, because you had given your personal details to somebody else. Yeah.
All right, these are the general things that we all should take care, I agree. But from Payit, if at all a situation arises like that, where there is a breach due to our credentials entered into your system, what is the responsibility Payit takes it for your clients? What is the responsibility in terms of decisions and helping hand from Payit towards the users?
So can you give me one specific example, like any incident happened?
No, like for example, we use banks, all right, and if there is a breach, then banks always helps us, like in terms of, investigating, or even to an extent of refunding the money, whichsoever means. So we want to hear from Payit, what are the measures and responsibilities you take up for your clients?
So for example, you used the card to swap somewhere else, but you have not used somebody else's use, so you can raise a dispute like how you do with the bank. So similarly, the money is not paid to the person, right? You raise a dispute and you get your money back. It works that way. But so Payit is like a bank. So imagine by mistake you have transferred money to somebody's bank account and all that.
No, we are not talking about our mistakes. We are talking about a breach where we have input our credentials in your system.
So let me, maybe product guy, give you more.
Yeah, so don't think about Payit any different from any bank account as far as security goes. Because in the back end, we are all from FAT, and we leverage on the same security and the same grade of systems that are used for any banking account. So you gave an example, probably if there is an issue with bank that the bank team has, it is the same team which comes in for Payit as well. We have dedicated fraud teams, we have dedicated support teams, we have a desk with Abu Dhabi Police, we have a desk with Dubai Police. So it's the complete ecosystem which controls, manages, mitigates financial fraud is available for Payit as well. So I'm not sure if that answered your question.
Thank you. We just need an assurance as clients if we are using your app. The security, it's prevented. There is no
Absolutely.
space for any such breach or anyone hacking your system, one fine day we get, because you are new for this.
So Payit as a brand name is new, but it is First Abu Dhabi bank system, products, protocols, and the entire governance system around it, which actually, from tech point of view or fraud and risk point of view, is the banking governance system which applies. So we are very much part of the bank's infrastructure, which prevents all these things.
Thank you.
So I have another question. I have a question.
Hi everyone, my name is Ruby. I would like to check how it's different from the live account. I'm using the live account for the same. So how it's different the payment?
We are the best. I have seen the live account, but I'm not very updated on the current features that they have. The best thing about Payit is, one, the registration is extremely easy. Okay, that applies to everyone. The products are very fairly priced, or they are free. There is no minimum balance that you are expected to maintain. There are no charges applied for not maintaining minimum balance. So this is just like your wallet in your pocket. If there is money, you use it. If it is not there, it is not there. Whenever you want, you add money and you can use it. And we have a card. We have a very good remittance service. We also participate in a lot of financial inclusion activities. So we have loans which we give to segments. So we have crafted the services in a way that it meets your day-to-day needs. It's not about one particular, or we are not going after just the university students. We have a product which anyone can use, whether it's a student, whether it is a businessman, businesswoman, whether it's a homemaker, or anyone else. Like even yourself can use this product. And most of the products are very fairly priced, and the UI UX is good. Our support is also very good for you. So, and of course, it's again a bank grade system. So this is what I can say.
I have one more question. Is there any limit on this? Because we have been at only 5,000 you can transfer in a month. In case there is any limit, or you can use any limit also from your account and just pay it out of your wallet.
So we have a limit of 25,000 per month, which can be spent from daily. Okay. But then for every service, there are different limits which are prescribed. For example, for remittance, you can use it up to 10,000 dirhams. And for 15,000 dirhams, sorry. For cards also, you can use it up to 15,000 dirhams. You can do P2P up to 5 to 10,000 dirhams. So for every service, there are different limits, but overall, the main limit that you need to look at is 25,000 dirhams per month. That's the amount of spend you can do from this.
And you have to leave some way to pay something, or to the
Absolutely not. You can pay anyone. The card that we have is a normal card. We have partnered with Visa on that. It's like any other bank card. You can use it anywhere. You can transfer money to anyone. You can transfer to a UAE bank account. We can allow you to transfer to up to, I think there are 195 countries. You can transfer to any countries, any bank account, provided it is allowed from UAE. Yes, you can use the digital card internationally. It works like any other bank card. So that will always be there. That will always. It's not a multi-currency card. It's just it works like.
All these facilities have been given by other banks, whatever account we have. So why we should switch over to this?
We have a much larger ecosystem. We have a large ecosystem of merchants. I think we can probably explain you about the offers that we have. We have 600,000 people. Nitin mentioned in his opening note that we have around 600,000 customers who are onboarded onto Payit, right? So it's a large ecosystem within which you can transfer free of cost. With your bank, you would want to place your savings, probably you'll keep it in the bank, which may be a much larger amount. You don't want to expose it everywhere. So this becomes like a safe wallet. In your wallet, you will keep only what you want to spend, probably a bit more. Maybe you will save a bit in your wallet for emergency. But your main funds are probably parked in your bank. You don't need to open that out.
That facility is given by the
then there will be competition. There are, yes, exactly.
That's what my question is. Why we should
Why you should convert, the difference is the customer experience, the way you will experience. So banks are more tuned towards, and I'm talking about the banks that I have used, I have not used all the bank accounts. The banks are tuned towards allowing you to save money and use it for your whatever payment purposes. There is no product like Payit. Once you start using it, you will understand the flow that we have, the customer experience, and can touch more about it. The customer experience that we have built is so seamless that it is probably a 2-3 step process, even just to transfer money, or you can check your balances of your card, you can safeguard your balances, you can save money. Now I know you will say it's all the same features, but it is presented in a much better way.
So, if you heard, like Mithun said, one interesting thing, right? You have one account for this, one account for that. So basically, when Payit was created, of course, with a debit card and other banks, we have a competition. But what happens with the debit card? There was single account is your bank account where entire money is coming over there, right? And of course, carrying a debit card anywhere using is not a problem. But Payit is created for a light use, and that's where we have a lot of customers. They say, okay, if I have 1,500 dirhams in my wallet, okay, I want to recharge my dad's phone, Jio or Vodafone, whatever in India, I can do it from sitting over here. For which like small amount you wouldn't like to go to your digital bank or something like that. He said, okay, listen, a lot of people do 100 dirhams transfer. They say, oh, I have a cousin, it's his birthday, I want to send him something. Okay, listen, I'm sending you 1,000 Indian rupees from here, and that's what you're doing. So these kind of like light usage. So we are not competing with like debit card.
But what my question is, all these facilities we are enjoying it already.
Yeah.
So there should be something special about it so that we can see like I think it's all the choice now you can.
Yeah, right.
I think you had a story.
Because we are small, we can trust as it is from other.
No, so basically, see, absolutely, she said, it's a choice. Say, for example, you as a person like have some choice, right? Like, okay, I'm confident. Let's say for myself, if you ask me, I never move out of credit card. Whatever you give me, that's my choice. But there are certain transactions I use for that, right? So you have a multiple options with you. You're not restricting for yourself. Imagine, once I had one ADCB credit card, let's say, 6-7 years ago. One fine morning, I got a message, 5,000 dirhams fraud, and I blocked my card and I didn't have a credit card in my pocket, and I said, what do I do? Then that day I decided, it's okay, I need to have at least 3 credit cards in my pocket, then I'll be glad. Because you're going to have, so that's where actually, so when we built this particular platform and then we came up this idea, so a lot of people said, like, as you said, like, everything is there, but if you make it some light use, and that's where we control the limit, 25,000. People said, why can't you make it 100,000, right? And like Liv is doing only for 5,000, like as she said, she said.
That
Yeah.
limitation can be increased as per your savings and
Yeah, correct.
the amount you have it.
Exactly. And then Payit, like we are building our ecosystem more stronger, so now we will introduce a card. So again, another problem of mine. So I have my debit card, my wife has a debit card, credit card and everything. Now my daughter is insisting, like I need something. So I gave the same digital card, like we have a Let's Go card, to her. And I know, so every time she says, okay, I'm going to mall, I need to buy something, how much money do you have in your wallet? I said, okay, 100 dirhams, don't exceed that amount. And I see everything. So there are multiple uses you can do. So you may not, all the features may be applicable to you, but there is something you can say, okay, there is a physical card.
The main difference is the bank accounts are more saving focused, we are more payment focused. So we are touching all the, so we have security payments, second we have bill payments, we have top-ups to international top-ups, like you can top-up to in around 60 countries, we allow top-up of mobile, you have HTV top-up, you have transfer of money, you have cash transfer of money, so, and of course local payments. So we are very focused on your payment life cycle. Bank accounts are more focused on your savings and on that part. Of course, they have other services as well, but we have brought everything under one umbrella and the experience is very good.
Right, so you have to load money into the wallet. Yeah, exactly. So that you can do it using your debit card. You can ask any local bank guy also, like transfer, like say. See this whole thing is bit up. As I said, like see, it's a mass product, but it's not a mass product. That's what I said. It cannot fit. It can fit for everyone. It cannot fit. There were a lot of people like when we did research. They said I'm struggling to get cash. From a friend in Ajman wants to transfer money, then he has to go to ATM, deposit cash, then I'll get money. So then he said, you have a payload cash transfer to pay simple. There were a couple of freelancers, they did some work and they wanted money from them. They said, how do we, okay, come and collect the check. He said, no, now for that 500 dirhams I have to go all the way. Can you send money? He said, I don't have a bank account. Okay, I have a paid IBAN number, can you transfer over there? So that's how like a lot of people use, that's why like our population has grown so much and all that, right? Yeah. Salaries into this, yeah. So that's how like, and then small like things, like, so another use case, like somebody was coming from India on the airport, wanted to do recharge or something like that. For that 50 dirhams or 100 dirhams, I'm not going to open. I didn't open my debit card or digital bank account, bank like for last 2 months, right? Just okay, just open, 50 dirhams, gone, done.
So you haven't budgeted a limit of money in terms of rupees that only 50 rupees till that equivalent to dirhams only I can send, or?
No limit. Even I think you can send 1 dirham also. Yeah. So I mean like I send like small amounts to a couple of my cousins in India who I pay 1,000 rupees only from here. So imagine like 1,000 for like 50 dirhams. I mean imagine if I open my bank account and in which I see my watch salaries or something, and rather let me use this particular one.
And
So,
there are banks who doesn't allow you to send below 100 dirhams, which is very difficult at times when we buy from small scale vendors.
exactly. Yeah.
I think you use some other service, but Pay, I do the transfer all the time to my NRI account. So there are no charges here, and I have not seen my bank bill like this. I can use the Swift transfer. So that gets charged. We have that directly integrated into the IMPS network in India, right? So that's why our transactions are also
See, another use case, if I tell you, let's see, most of the time we all go for lunch, dinners, and we have to, do the pooling, right? The cash pooling or something. Imagine we found so difficult, right? Early. Like, okay, your invoice value is let's say 133 dirhams, and imagine you have to divide it into 5 people. If somebody is paying you more, right? Which is fine, taking the cash, and sometimes you're not getting exit change. So like I have to give, let's say 27 dirhams. So then actually I'll end up paying either 30 dirhams or 25 dirhams. We paid, okay fine, I'll transfer this money to you exactly. Done. Period. Right? So your cash problem is solved. So that's how like this whole use case came in. I think somebody talked about Venmo also in US. Why Venmo is popular? Just because of that. The same like US is well infrastructure, all banking and everything. But Venmo came in like this is the problem, and then they solved, and a lot of people were using this. So similarly, like we had done this here. So when you see in remittance, like outside country you're sending money, there's like 15,000 you can send in one go. The second transaction you can go another 10,000. But overall spend, yeah, same thing you can do it. But in one go you can't try. Exactly. So Paytm is another example in India, right? So people, the way they were using and all that. So here, that's why then we launched this Visa card. So you get a Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, Google Pay, keep paying and then give a physical card to your relative or somebody else. And it's a small amount, you're not using it.
Alright. I think I'm loving the interest. Just in the interest of finishing the session, the team is here and they can answer all your questions one to one. Can I just finish my panel discussion? Yeah, we have our panelists sitting on stage. I'm sure the team is very happy answering your questions. They're all
No, it's not a credit card.
Yes, it is a debit card, it's a wallet. Alright, ladies, you have seen the, after the photo, Okay, you've seen the interest in knowing more about finances. What's our closing statement? What is your final word of advice to the ladies in this room? We have homepreneurs, we have entrepreneurs in the room, we have career women in the room, and we have homemakers in this room. So please share your final words of advice.
Okay. My advice is going to be that you raise your boys in such a way that you make them respect their women to be financially independent without having the fear of losing control and without having the need to control. I hope I have been very clear in what I've said. If we do this, we will have all women, we are empowering all women by doing this, by just letting our sons know how to treat their women. That's all. That's all. Women, I think, again, the same thing, you need to invest. Most of the times women are not investing because what is the question in their head is, I don't know how to invest, right? But there are many platforms now where you can learn from how to invest. I think YouTube is filled with all these replies now that you have, questions that you have in your head, how to invest. Sometimes women say, I don't have enough money to invest. You don't need a lot of money to invest. You start small. Start small, but start with discipline. It's not about whether you'll be able to do it, but if you have set the intention and the discipline, you will do it. And I think women now slowly, or maybe fast, however, need to get exposed to the equity market, the stocks. You know, of course there are a lot of fluctuations and you're scared, what if I lose my money? But you take calculated risks. If you have the holding capacities, wait. Don't be one of those quick ones, you know, where you're just... So, I think be sharp about it and take interest, take keen interest. You have worked hard towards making money. Now let this money work for you. It's time to enjoy it also, na? So we work very hard now to make this money, to make this wealth. Now let this wealth make us wealthier. Let it work for you. Enjoy yourself, let the money keep coming in your bank, and let your lifestyle not change. So let's be smart and prudent about it.
I think from my end, and I use this even in my work life, and I tell my students, I tell the parents at my school, I tell my staff, is begin with the end in mind. So it's very important that whatever stage we are now in our lives, I can see that some of you are just very young, you know, maybe you are very young children. And some of us are at a later stage in life where we are planning very, you know, maybe midlife, and then there's retirement. So I think different stages of life need different types of financial planning. And that is something that I want you to, you know, foresee. I kind of say that to myself every now and then as to what is it going to be 10 years from now? And financially, are you prepared to handle that situation at that time? So towards that, I think the planning is very important. How we are going to budget, how we are going to plan your earnings now, whether it is in investing in, you know, whether it's equity markets, whether it's real estate, or whether it is, like one of the persons, I was trying to get a pulse check on what you were expecting from the session. One of them said, you know, looking at even entrepreneurship. But with the current market conditions, is this entrepreneurship initiative going to bring you the ROI? And without ROI, you know, a business is not a business. It's going to be a financial drain on your hard-earned money. So, very important that you look at it from the end in mind. But the second thing that I want to leave you with is, in a very digitized world, there is always room for you to go find information. YouTube is one thing Mithun mentioned, but even who do you follow on this different social media accounts? You know, so who is the most richest man in the world? You know, supposed to be Warren Buffett at a time was a major stockholder, but if you look at how his life started, you know, it was literally the rags to riches story. This morning I was reading about a car wash guy in Dubai
literally rags to riches, where he was washing 140 cars, and all he did was buy a 28 dirham car shine polish. And that made all the difference when he started getting more clients. Today he owns it's like 14 luxury cars, right? My goodness, I was like blown away by how he did it. And all he started was the visa renewable company, and that he didn't look back after that. So who do you follow on Instagram? What inspires you every morning? And who do you need to let go of your Instagram and Facebook as well? So it's so important who are you, what is the zone that you are in? So you need to be in that zone of proximal development for yourself. I think, you really can't go wrong with, these things. So I hope that helps.
Absolutely helps. Can we have a round of applause for all our ladies? Thank you. Can I invite Mr. Nitin here? We have some lovely gifts for our panelists. So, thank you, ladies. Thank you.
This was an inspiring session.
Thank you so much, Ms. Martin. Thank you, Nitin. Thank you, Dr. Rajul. Can I invite the whole Payit team here? Can we have a group picture?
Wait, but just get everybody.
Can you guys come a bit ahead? And you guys can step down.
You want to go there and finish it?
Okay, and smile. Okay, one more.